Hey people, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the battles that we face in our lives. And we're going to be talking about how we should not have to go through these trials alone. But some of us feel like we have to. And we make things worse by going through it alone because we might think that we don't have anybody there with us. But that shouldn't be the case. I say it shouldn't be the case because some of us still go through it alone because we might put our trust in ourselves or we might put our trust in this world. And we go through life thinking that we got to do it by ourselves. But if you put your trust in the one true God, then you're not alone. 1 John 4:4 says this, "You are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because he who is in you is greater than who is in the world." See, this reminds me of a song from VeggieTales, and I still like to watch VeggieTales. So y'all excuse my singing. I'm going to try to sing a little chorus from God is Bigger Than the Boogeyman. And, well, here we go. Say, God is bigger than the boogeyman. He's bigger than Godzilla and the monsters on TV. Oh, God is bigger than the boogeyman. And he's watching out for you and me. So like I say, excuse my singing. I know it's awful, but I really like that chorus. But so God is bigger than any issue that we can come across, and he is there with us the entire time. Here's a couple of verses that remind me of that fact. Psalms 23:4. Yet though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Psalms 28:7. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusted in him, and I am helped. Therefore my heart greatly rejoices, and with my song I will praise him. So that brings us to today's lesson of the Bible. We're going to be going over 1 Samuel 17. I won't go over the entire chapter. I'm going to hit some points. I'm going to summarize to the point where we get to where the verses that we're going to go over. But what we're going to be talking about is one of the most famous stories that most people know, David and Goliath. Like I said, I won't read the entire chapter. I'm going to read a summary, or I'm going to give you a summary of what led up to the battle of David and Goliath. So the Israelites and the Philistines, they were at battle, but there was one person that stood out. It was Goliath. He stood out because he was much taller, much stronger than all the other Philistines. He was over 9 foot 9 inches tall. So just imagine a basketball court in the NBA. That's 10 feet. So he was just a few inches shorter than that. He was also very strong because you got to think about all the equipment that he wore. Just by the helmet by itself was 30 pounds. His chest piece was 150. And I'm not even adding in the shin guards and the shoulder pads and all his weapons that he had to carry. So this dude was tall and he was strong. He's very intimidating. And every day, for 40 days, Goliath would come out before they would go into battle, and he would come out and he was trying to make a deal with the Jews. He would come out and say, "Hey, I got a deal for you. If one of you will come out here and fight me one-on-one, whoever wins, the losing team or the losing army will become the other army's servants." But the Jews, when they saw this guy, they're thinking, there's no way any of us can take on him. This guy's just too big, too strong. If any of us go out there, then we're fools and we're just going to lose and we're going to be servants. So nobody was willing to accept that challenge. But then David, who happens to be a very young man still at this point, shows up to deliver food to his brothers because he had some brothers that were out there for the war. And he starts to ask them what is going to be done about this uncircumcised Philistine who defiles the army of the living God. So then he volunteers to fight Goliath himself. And we'll pick up this conversation with King Saul in verse 32. Then David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail because of him. Your servant will go and fight this Philistine." And Saul said to David, "You are not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him. You are a youth, and the man of war, and he is a man of war from his youth." But David said to Saul, "Your servant used to keep his father's sheep. And when a lion or a bear came and took a lamb out of the flock, I went after it and struck it and delivered the lamb from its mouth. And when it arose against me, I caught it by its beard and struck and killed it. Your servant has killed both lion and bear. And this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, seeing that he has defiled the armies of the living God." Moreover, David said, "The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear, he will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine." See, this was not David's first time going into battle. He was not worried about the battle with Goliath because he remembers who got him through all the battles in the past. When we go through a trial, when we face a battle in life, we need to remember what God has already done for us as well. Remember the addictions that He's broken. Remember the relationships that He's brought back together. Remember that He has given you life with the price of His death. See, He loves you, and He is a good Father, and a good Father takes care of His children. He's also Jesus called the Good Shepherd. And just like David, whenever one of his sheep were taken by this lion or this bear, he went after them because he was taking care of his sheep. Well, Jesus is our Good Shepherd, and if anything happens, He wants to take care of us because He is the Good Shepherd. So He loves us and wants to take care of us. He wants to fight these battles with us and for us. So here we have David getting ready to go into the battle with Goliath. But that was okay because he already knew the end result, because he knew who was going to bring him out of that battle. Just like He brought him out of the battles in the past, He knew who was going to bring him out of this battle as well. So we got to remember as well, all the battles that we have in our past, they're not going to stop. Especially when you become a Christian, the battles don't stop. The only difference is that we have Jesus to be with us, Jesus to fight the battles with us. And when the battles that Jesus has gotten us through in the past, the battles are going to continue to happen. And we just got to remember and keep our faith in God, and remember the one who is going to bring us out of all these battles as well. So David knew that God was going to bring him out of this battle with Goliath with victory. And that brings us to verses 45 through 47, which we'll get to see the battle itself. Then David said to the Philistine, "You come to me with a sword, with a spear, and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of armies of Israel, whom you have defiled. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you and take your head from you. And this day I will give the carcasses of the camp of the Philistines to the birds of the air and with the wild beasts of the earth, that the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. Then all this assembly shall know that the Lord does not save with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and He will give you into our hands." So if you would have saw this battle happening, I'm sure you would have thought Goliath was going to win. I mean, Goliath, he was bigger, he was more equipped, he had many years' experience. And here's David, a young guy. The only experience he had with the battles was fighting off wild animals, saving his sheep. So he didn't have that much experience. He was smaller. The difference is that David had someone, going back to the VeggieTales song, David has someone bigger than that boogeyman. See, David has something Goliath didn't have, which was God's shield. He had God with him. So just like God was with David, may God be with you as well. And remember, like David mentioned in verse 47, when we go through these battles, when we're going through these trials, just remember that the battle is the Lord's. Well, thank y'all for listening. Y'all have a blessed day. Y'all stay safe. Love y'all.
So when I'm lying in my bed and the furniture starts creaking, I'll just laugh and say, "Hey, cut that out!" and get back to my sleeping, 'cause I know that God's the biggest and He's watching all the while. So when I get scared, I'll think of Him and close my eyes and smile.
God is bigger than the boogeyman. He's bigger than Godzilla or the monsters on TV. Oh, God is bigger than the boogeyman, and He's watching out for you and me. So are you frightened?
No, not really.
Are you worried?
Not a bit. I know whatever's gonna happen, that God can handle it.
I'm sorry that I scared you when you saw me on TV.
Well, that's okay, 'cause now I know that God is taking